Okay, so we are going to start with a brief introduction, if it's okay for you, and we'll wait for the rest of attendees. Good morning, and welcome to this new session of the Cosmetic Packaging Masterclasses under the framework of the EPIC project. My name is Susana Ranz. I'm the Executive Director of Estampa, the Spanish Cosmetic, Toiletry and Perfumery Association, and the Innovation Director at Feel Innovation, the Spanish cluster promoted by Estampa for cosmetic innovation and the partner in EPIC project. Thank you, all of you, for joining us today. It's a pleasure to connect with so many of you across Europe. Just a few quick notes before we begin, okay? Just the session will be recorded, as you can see, and the recording and presentations will be available with you afterwards. At the end, at the end of each presentation today, we will open the floor for question and answer. You can please feel free to add your questions in the Zoom chat during the presentation, or if you prefer, when we finish each presentation, you can just raise your hand and try, to talk with the expert that is presenting the webinar. Just briefly introduce the EPIC project. This project is funded by the European Union under the Interregional Innovation Investment Instrument. EPIC aims to accelerate innovation in sustainable packaging and support its adoption in key sectors like cosmetics, food, and also health and pharma. The project brings together, as you can see, 10 different partners from 8 European countries, including clusters, technology centers, packaging materials and machinery suppliers, and user industries. And the idea is to strengthen regional innovation ecosystems and respond to regulatory and sustainability challenges. A key ambition of EPIC, and I think this is important for all of you, is to understand the real innovation needs of client sectors such as cosmetics, so that the packaging suppliers can design and develop solutions that, in one hand, align with current and future regulations, also to preserve product safety, reduce environmental impact, reflect brand identity, and respond to consumer demands. We also invite you, of course, to join the last EPIC Masterclass focus on sustainable cosmetic packaging that will be on November 28, and we'll explore sustainability from the perspective of packaging machinery, okay? We will have speakers from a cosmetic company from Spain, Bavaria, and also from some experts from Poland, Polytech and Torun Technology Park. You can follow all updates on the EPIC LinkedIn page, and we'll also share registration links and materials by email after each session. So today's masterclass, focusing materials for sustainable cosmetic packaging, challenges, safety, and innovation, brings together 3 expert voices covering the full spectrum of material science, circularity, and technical performance. We'll begin with Belén López, Circular Economy Manager at the consulting company KPMG, who supports organizations in designing and implementing circular strategies across multiple industries. Belén will share the key findings of the cosmetic packaging waste characterization study developed for the Belleza Circular project by Ecoembes and Estampa, highlighting the real-world challenges that the sector faces on its path to 2030 in terms of recyclability, safety, and sustainability. She will also present a practical case study evaluating the incorporation of post-consumer recycled materials into cosmetic packagings, and will conclude with a summary slide outlining the main challenges and potential lines of action or business cases that could inspire future developments within EPIC. Next to Belén, we'll hear from Mónica Leal, R&D technician at the Spanish Technological Center of AINIA, a specialist in packaging materials and technology. Mónica will dive into the technical performance and barrier properties, migration testing, NIAS assessments, and packaging product compatibility critical aspects when we integrate new materials or recycled content in cosmetic packaging. And finally, Leonor Pascual, senior researcher at AINIA with more than 18 years of experience in materials and packaging technologies, will present innovative solutions aimed at improving the sustainability of packaging systems. She will offer a forward-looking perspective on material innovation, transformation processes, and the development of more circular and efficient packaging structures. So together, our speakers will provide a comprehensive overview of the challenges and opportunities shaping the future of cosmetic packaging materials. So now we will start with Belén. Belén, please, the floor is yours. Welcome, and thank you very much for participating in this masterclass.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay. Okay, so good morning again, everyone. It's a real pleasure to be here with you today. I'd like to thank the organizers, especially Stampa, for the opportunity to share this information about recyclability challenges in cosmetic packaging. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to talk about some of the key challenges we are facing and how innovation and collaboration are essential to overcoming them. So let's get started. As you may already know, the cosmetic sector companies, many of them attending this event actually, and association like Stampa, share the sustainability objectives of the European Union. They have a long history of progress and commitment to circularity. However, it's a sector with some particularities. To begin with, in the high-end segment, packaging is not only a functional part of product preservation, but also constitutes an element of add value for the consumers, who at the same time are becoming more and more conscious and sustainability-driven mindset. Stampa, with the collaboration of Kantar, made a study that revealed that 52% of beauty consumers are willing to consume more sustainable products. It also has been taken into account the fact that cosmetic packaging must be subject to strict consumer health and safety standards. The cosmetic sector has special conditions in the process of packaging and labeling, which are already regulated by legislation. And in some point, which may contradict elements of the packaging and packaging waste regulation, the PPY regulation, whose objectives are to promote reusable and recyclable packaging, to improve recyclability of packaging material, to combat over-packaging, or to reduce packaging waste. And finally, we can consider cosmetic packaging as a complex packaging, meaning that involves multiple layers or materials, for example, different type of plastic, glass, metal, etc. Special closure systems like dispensers, valves, additional functions like UV protection, thermal preservation, etc., and different size and shapes. So this complexity generates difficulties in recycling and in the separation of the different components. So in this scenario, we could say that the recycling of packaging represents a challenge, a real challenge for the cosmetic industry. And it's exactly in this context where Stampa has launched a pilot project called Belleza Circular, focused on recycling cosmetic packaging. Why really does Belleza Circular emerge? The initiative is built around two central goals. For one perspective, to meet legal requirements of the PPYR that I mentioned before, meaning to implement packaging solutions that are both scalable and recyclable and ensure compliance with recycling goals. And in parallel, to provide consumers with clear information on how to recycle cosmetic products, involving them in practice that promote a positive environmental impact. Of course, the collaboration between stakeholders plays a crucial role in meeting these two goals. And this is why Belleza Circular brings together manufacturers, represented by Stampa as the leader of the project, distributors, packaging waste managers, environmental partners such as Ecoembes and Ecovidrio, and the end consumer. Ecoembes and Ecovidrio, if you don't know, they are the extended producer responsibility system for plastics and glass packaging in Spain. And KPMG, we are the technical office in this project. We collaborate with Stampa. And what makes Belleza Circular unique? No, why is a pioneering initiative? Belleza Circular is bringing brands together under one sustainability initiative to improve trust and confidence in the beauty industry. Belleza Circular is also empowering these distributors to take a more active role in sustainability and to better connect with these conscious and responsible and eco-aware consumers that I mentioned before. Belleza Circular is positioning the sector as a leader in circular economy practices, aligned with the WP waste regulation. Also, Belleza Circular is raising awareness and engaging consumers in sustainable beauty through clear communication and meaningful interaction. And finally, we could say that Belleza Circular is expanding recycling option by making it easier for consumers to recycle cosmetics packaging beyond traditional systems. And here you can see the emblem of the project, this beautiful container. These containers are being designed for collecting small plastic and glass packaging waste, meaning under 15 centimeters, that don't enter the usual recycling stream because they create uncertainty for consumers when disposing of them. Especially in the case of multi-material packaging, or because sometimes they are not perceived as packaging. Moreover, this small plastic and glass packaging waste pose additional technical challenges during the recycling process due to their characteristics such as size, color, or composition of multiple materials. And which is why separate collection is also more efficient from a waste management perspective. We've installed the Belleza Circular containers in 67 points across Seville and 10 in Barcelona, in total 77 locations. And the containers are placed in different kind of distributors or retailers like supermarkets, perfumeries, hair salons, beauty salons, pharmacies, to test how the initiative works across different channels. And the pilot will run for a total of 9 months from May 2025 to January 2026. This is the expected time to obtain insights for a potential scaling the project. And of course, engaging the end consumer is crucial to making this project a success. The consumer have to go to the point to drop off their packaging. So our challenge is to truly connect with them. And this is why communication is a strategic pillar of the project. We employ multiple channels you can see on the slide, and tools for communications such as dedicated website, targeted social media campaigns, and paid advertisement in buses and radio. And recently, we have launched an incentive campaign with prize draws for consumers who take part. So if you're in Seville or Barcelona, we would love for you to participate in the campaign. Absolutely, we monitor different KPIs in the pilot, like for example, packaging collected weight or average daily collection rate for plastic and for glass packaging. And as you can observe on the slide, the volume of waste collected is low, but please keep in mind that these are low turnover products that take a long time to be consumed. So the waste generation period is extended. And these products also have a treasure-like effect on consumer, especially in the case of a bottle of perfume. No? They are very, very beautiful. Moreover, this is considered a common circumstance for any collection initiative for the first time. And it's attributed to a combination of factors such as consumers' lack of awareness about the project, the difficulty of changing habits. No? We are consumers, and we know that separating a new waste stream, it's a chain of routines. And also the potential resistance to change or lack of motivation. Anyway, the data suggests that gradually user engagement has been activated across different types of location with different results in terms of volume and waste collected, and also the quality of source separation by channel. Actually, the 75% of intended material in the waste stream is high. But we are focusing on the strategy to boost consumer engagement, to increase the amount of waste deposited, and to ensure proper source separation, reducing the presence of non-target material. Okay, so let's now look at the preliminary insights regarding recyclability of packaging material collected in Belleza Circular. In a phase preceding the pilot, an analysis of the potential recyclability of the material was carried out. And at first, in a theoretical assessment, we identified 12 product subcategories that could potentially face recyclability challenges, such as, for example, nail polish, eyeshadow, lipstick, or blush. But after a practical recyclability study carried out by 2 professional recyclers showed high recyclability potential and 3 key conclusions. First one was that there is a wide range of materials in cosmetic packaging waste. This is not a surprise, you already know. Some of them are specific to this type of product and aren't found in other waste streams, such as ABS plastic, or they are like multi-material packaging. And for this specific material that I mentioned, are hard to recycle at a scale. And the result of this previous analysis have been refuted by 2 new waste characterization carried out within the pilot regarding the type of materials identified. The recyclability studies for the pilot are scheduled for a later phase. But we can see in this characterization that the predominant materials are PE, polyethylene, and LDPE, low density polyethylene. This material don't present any recyclability issues. The inks of the packaging is estimated that don't affect the quality of the recycled material. Natural white and colored HDPE, high-density polyethylene, is present in several product categories. And again, it doesn't pose any issues for recycling, such as PP, polypropylene, who is also present in several product categories. For PET, polyethylene pentalate packaging, transparent packaging poses no issues for recycling. However, in opaque and colored packaging, the presence of coloring additive is considered that limit their suitability for a market application. And finally, there are multi-material packages composed on different plastic, metal, etc., like lipstick, or, for example, the mirror in makeup boxes. So it was estimated that the effectiveness of such recycling would be very, very low. In conclusion, we could say that, of course, there are several challenges in cosmetic packaging recycling that require innovation and collaboration among the different stakeholders. The first is the complex packaging designs. I mentioned before, multiple layers or material, special closure system, etc. And these combinations are difficult to separate and recycle efficiently. Small and irregular formats. Products like lipstick or mascaras are often too small to be processed by standard recycling systems. Third challenge is the use of non-recyclable materials. Some packaging includes material that are not recognized in conventional waste streams, such as plastic ABS or decorative elements. So we could say that they are hard to recycle on a mass scale. These first three challenges that I mentioned share a common factor to address them, and is eco-design. So the sector must continue working on applying the principle of eco-design. Prioritize monomaterial solutions, avoid combination of materials, avoid materials that are widely accepted in existing recycling streams, like opaque or colored PET, facilitate easy separation of components, minimization of additives and inks, or incorporate recycled material, ensuring always compliance with safety and quality standards, of course. And these three challenges really partly on industry efforts in collaboration with the Center of Innovation. But we could say that the following represent a common challenge. No? It's the limited infrastructure for cosmetic waste. It's a reality that most municipal recycling systems are not equipped to handle the unique waste generated by the beauty industry, which demand investment efforts in innovative technologies that enable the recycling of different materials, and in sorting methods that do not restrict packaging size. And finally, consumers often don't know how to properly dispose of cosmetics packaging due to unclear or missing recycling instruction. And in addition, that I mentioned before, and the result of the project shows the difficulty of introducing new recycling habits, which is complicated. It's a challenge. So that's all from my side. I hope you found it interesting. So we are confident that Belleza Circular will be a success achieving a strong consumer engagement, and in order to increase both the quantity of collected waste and the quality of the sample. This will enable continued progress in recyclability studies, providing new data on materials, which we expect to share with you, to have the possibility to share with you. And thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Belén. I don't know if there is any question from the attendees at this from this part of the masterclass. There is no questions in the chat. If not, we will just keep going with the next speakers. Okay. So, Monica, I think that now is your turn.
Hello, good morning.
Oh, sorry.
Well, in this case, it will be, I will start from AINIA. My colleague Monica will also participate in the presentation. And first of all, thank you very much, Estampa, for inviting AINIA to join with you in this masterclass and to share with you our knowledge and some experiences. It was also very interesting to hear from Belén the initiative of Belleza Circular. In fact, it is very related with experience that I'm going to show you. And well, first of all, I'm going to share with you the presentation. Just a moment, please. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Monica.
So, our presentation is related to collaborative innovation for more sustainable cosmetic packaging, technologies, legislation, and success stories. This was already just mentioned by Belén. The need of the collaboration for according to the challenges that she mentioned. And so this is the index that we will follow. I will explain you very in 2 slides just the AINIA packaging, what we work in at the AINIA at the packaging sector related with packaging, then the legislative challenges for cosmetic packaging, but very especially focused on a specific eco-design strategy, which is the incorporation of recycled material on cosmetic packaging. Then an example of collaborative innovation for that. And finally, my colleague Monica, she will explain you the design for safe and suitable cosmetic packaging. So previously, I would like to show you how we work at AINIA in the cosmetic sector, and specifically in the packaging for cosmetics. And we work on the different aspects related to packaging for cosmetics, especially safety, the packaging tests, the end of life of the packaging, which is related to also eco-design, the environmental impact, industrialization of those kind of packaging, because the changes on materials, on the formats for packaging in order to make them more sustainable. Well, the industrialization is a critical step, the design and eco-design, of course, and the interaction between the packaging and the product. And so we can support on different kind of aspects from the point of view of sustainability and packaging eco-design relating to circular economy, using byproducts, maybe from the own sector, the packaging and product compatibility. In fact, this aspect will be more developed by Monica later. The different packaging materials, not only plastics, but the use of alternative material like bioplastics, biodegradable plastic materials, also cellulosic packaging and other kind of materials, the possibility of developing active or functional coatings in order to improve the properties of these alternative materials, self-life studies, laboratory and analytic services, to work on reusable packaging, recyclability, as you mentioned. I will focus in this presentation in the incorporation of post-consumer recycled material and other aspects like connectivity, market studies, or studies with consumers or legislative services. And then, more specifically, I wanted to mention these legislative challenges for cosmetic packaging, which are mentioned at the PPWR regulation that you already mentioned. You focused on recyclability. In this case, well, I focused the challenge on the content, the recycled content, that the objectives that are defined by this legislation. So why it is necessary to be recyclable the packaging? Well, the idea is to be able to use that material again for producing new packaging, and so the ideally should be to close the loop. I mean, to use those recycled material for producing new packaging for cosmetics. That should be the best way for using those recycled materials. So this is why, this is called a very high quality material. That's the idea, to obtain a high quality recycled material. And so the European Commission defined some objectives to accomplish for 2030, and you can see different percentages of post-consumer recycled plastic material that should be contain the different kind of packaging, and depending on the material. And you can see the concept of contact sensitive packaging, which refers not only to food packaging but also to cosmetic packaging. So there are different percentages according to the material. And in the case of PET, there is considered, or it is defined, a minimum 30% of recycled content for 2030. And another kind of material, not PET, I mean, those kind of polyolefins that Belén mentioned, PE, different kind of PE, PP. In those cases, it is considered a minimum percentage of 10%. Okay, and other kind of examples, but more related to food packaging. And in 2040, there are other objectives. In this case, are not mandatory. And for the case of PET, it is considered a minimum of 50%. In the case of other materials, at 25%. And here I wanted to show you the kind of plastic wastes that we can find. And in order to understand the concept of post-consumer wastes and the challenge that the use of these wastes is important. So we have pre-consumer industrial wastes, and in those cases the materials are clean, and we know the composition. So it is a kind of material that it is not so a challenge, because you can see the most important thing is to know the composition, and in order to know its characteristics. Then we have the post-consumer industrial materials, plastic waste. In these cases, it can include, it can be not a clean material, but anyway, the composition is known. So in this case, it is another step, no, on the challenge. And finally, we have the post-consumer domestic wastes, which is the more challenging material for working with. In these cases, we don't know the composition, and it also have a lot of weights from product. So the legislation is telling us that it must be used a post-consumer material, which can be obtained from industrial or domestic. And what is the difference between different kind of material like PET and other plastic materials? Well, from the point of view of food contact or safety. So there are some plastic materials that from recycled materials that are suitable for their use as food contact. In the case of PET, there is a defined super cleaning process which has been approved by EFSA, which is the European Food Safety Authority. And so that kind of material, recycled material that has passed through this technology, then it is able for being used again for producing a new packaging that it will be safe enough for being used as a contact sensitive material. But in the case of other materials which are not PET, which are like PE or PP, which are known as polyolefins, in those cases there is for the moment an authorized super cleaning process by EFSA. So in this case, it is not possible for the moment to use them from a mechanical recycling, and there are only two ways of using recycled material from this kind of plastics. It is possible to use recycled material, but it comes from a chemical process recycling. And the other alternative should be to use a closed loop system. I mean, to have a very a system that is able to have a traceability of the material, and then it is possible to use that kind of material, because we know the wastes that and the kind of products that have been packaged inside those packaging, and it could be another possibility. And after this information, I will show you the experience of a collaborative innovation project that we are in this moment working with one of the companies associated to Stampa, who is Germaine de Cappuccini. In this case, the objective of this project was the development of a packaging containing recycled material for being used for cosmetic products. And as I mentioned before, the challenge was from the legislation mainly. We have a national law that, where there is a special tax for non-reusable plastic packaging. And the idea of this tax is to promote reusable packaging from one side, but on the other side to use recycled content in the packaging. And from the other side, we have the European legislation, the PPWA. In this case, as you saw at the table, there is a minimum recycled material content for containing in the cosmetic packaging, which is in 2030 of 10%. And then it is expected to be higher. So as I mentioned, for PET, there is a possibility of using this kind of recycled material, but for the polyolefins, as I mentioned before, there is the possibility of using the material obtained from chemical recycling. But for mechanical recycling, we wanted to make use of this possibility of a closed loop system. And with Germain de Cappuccini, it was possible because they have a professional channel, some beauty salons where those kind of products are being used. So it was possible to obtain those packaging after their use in a very traceable way. Through the initiative of Belleza Circular, for example, you try to collect the domestic packaging, but in this case, as this is of course quite difficult, we wanted to make use of this other kind of possibility, which is in this case easier for us. So first of all, we had to select the kind of material and packaging that was better for this project. And as you mentioned before, there are a lot of small sizes packaging, different kind of materials, and of course Germain de Cappuccini have a wide range of materials and kind of formats. And we had to select the three kind of formats and materials. So that was a previous task, in the most important thing, because it will be the first step that will which after this selection we had to work with those formats, and so it was very important to select very well the kind of packaging and to take into account the different aspects related to recyclability, because we had colored packaging, another kind of packaging with labels, and it was very important to make properly that kind of selection. So as you can see, we selected those kind of formats and materials. These were we wanted, it was important to use high volume formats, because it was easier to work with, and also, as you can see, in a natural or as much as or maximum in a white colored. So we selected to work with PP, another format with low density polyethylene, and the format of tubes with medium density polyethylene. Then we cleaned them, and we make that kind of small sizes, particles of materials. I mean, we obtain that kind of recycled materials that we had to transform in pellets in order to be able to work with them, to incorporate them for obtaining films and another kind of samples for characterizing. So you can see the different formats. The recycled of this packaging was a little challenging, also because of the shape of the packaging, especially round packaging is not the best, the geometry for its recycling. But we obtained finally the materials. We obtained the pellets, each one for each material, and then we used that recycled materials for obtaining different kind of films with a maximum percentage of recycled material. In this case, because of the limited quantity of recycled PP and PE, we were able to include a maximum of 15%, but enough for obtaining some films, some samples, and from those films we were able to produce some samples in the shape of bags for produce, for then making the tests with products that at this moment are being done. Then even we were able to produce some samples of bottles, and at this moment we are in the phase of characterization of these materials from the point of view of mechanical properties, of course, interaction between the product and the materials, safety, and now we are finishing. Well, we are those characterization are ongoing in this moment, and we will have some results in the near weeks. So I hope that in another presentation we will be able to show you which are the differences between the virgin material and incorporation of the recycled plastic. And then my colleague Monica will show you with more details those tests that are being done with in order to know the interaction between the product and the materials.
Let me see if I can share properly my screen. Okay. I can pass it through. Okay. So, good morning, everyone. I'm Monica, also from the Packaging Technologies Department, and I'm going to cover the design of safe and suitable cosmetic packaging. I will start by presenting the stability testing of cosmetic packaging that guarantees that the packaging can maintain its integrity and protect the product through its whole shelf life. This test is especially important when a change is made either from packaging designs or shifting from like shifting from a standard packaging to a refillable containers, as you can see in the picture, which is increasingly common due to sustainability trends. And also being able to understand how the packaging material interacts with the product formulation. So this can help to prevent issues such as leaks, cracks, deformation, collapse, or this kind of problems that could compromise product safety and consumer satisfaction. So this test, all our tests complies with a European standard, and I'm going to explain it very quickly. We simulate prolonged storage by exposing the filled and sealed package to an elevated temperature for 15 days to accelerate any potential degradation. So over this period, we do daily inspections to look for signs of failure, like the ones that I said before, like leakage, for instance, or structural collapse, which are classified by its severity. So this test covers a wide variety of packaging materials, from conventional plastics like polyethylene, polypropylene, PET, to biodegradable polymers such as PLA or PBS. Additionally to these tests, complementary tests can evaluate related properties, also crucial to the packaging performance that had to be ad hoc according to the product typology. We have, for instance, humidity control and pH stability to assess real use conditions, also product viscosity monitoring to detect any formulation changes that might affect dispersity or sensory properties. Also, photostability tests to assess the degradation from light exposure, depending on the packaging. Also, seal integrity and vibration resistance. And at the end, also microbiological parameters to ensure the no contamination through all the shelf life. And moving into AINIA's, well, to the next slide, to a regulatory framework, we have here AINIA's. The regulatory framework of NIAS, which are non-intentionally added substances in cosmetic packaging. We have also this word for food contact, but also it's important in cosmetic packaging. Moving on to cosmetic, we have the Cosmetic Product Safety Report, the CPSR, that requires information about packaging materials, as we can see in the regulation, especially concerning traces, impurities, and potential contaminants. So this is particularly crucial with recycled materials, where raw materials traceability can be complex. So moving into this regulation, we have Article 17 that addresses the presence of prohibited substances that might appear unintentionally, such as NIAS, and it acknowledges that technically unavoidable amounts of such substances might result from ingredient impurities, manufacturing processes, storage conditions, or the typical migrations from packaging materials. Practically, this means that while certain harmful substances are forbidden in developed and added, their trace presence might be tolerated if demonstrated to be unavoidable via good manufacturing practices. Also, referring to this regulation, we have Annex 1, well, the first annex of the regulation that enforces this by requiring that this CPSR, the Cosmetic Product Safety Report, contains detailed data of these impurities, traces, and packaging-related parameters such as purity and stability. So a challenging cosmetic industry is this absence of standardized thresholds or harmonized testing protocols for NIAS, which complicates, of course, safety evaluations. Nevertheless, conducting NIAS studies is indispensable to confirm this product safety and regulatory compliance. This is why these studies are gaining importance among manufacturers and regulators. So moving on to the last slide, to tell you more about what is this NIAS testing that we conduct at AINIA. As I have said before, NIAS are chemically diverse substances occurring through the packaging supply chains. Its origins can be from the main raw material, also intermediates to final packaged products. These substances originate from polymer or additive degradation, impurities in raw material, and in additives, or even side reactions during manufacturing. So the main concern is their potential to migrate from packaging into cosmetics, presenting this health risk if they are toxicologically relevant. So our approach begins with a comprehensive screening of the material of packaging using advanced analytical techniques such as gas chromatography and liquid chromatography. With this, we have a semi-quantification of the detected substances, and that will help us to provide a detailed profile. So when we have each substance detected, then we need to undergo a toxicological risk assessment in which several steps are involved, like the verification in current legislation about these substances, and the application of the threshold of toxicological concern, which determines the hazard of the substance according to the molecular structure. And also we have to sometimes do a review of toxicological literature to contextualize this risk. And also when the packaging targets specific applications, we further analyze exposure scenarios, considering different consumer profiles, taking into account different things such as age, geographic region, and consumption patterns. And with that, we present this risk evaluation of NIAS present in packaging. So when packaging, also I have set in this presentation a small table with examples of endocrine disruptors, which are chemicals that interfere with the hormonal system. And these are examples that can be found in cosmetic packaging materials, such as, well, maybe the most common are bisphenols. So this essay assess this kind of substances also. So by combining chemical analysis with toxicological evaluation and exposure assessment, this NIAS testing assures manufacturers that their packaging materials meet safety standards, whether for conventional, refillable, or recycled packaging, and it also can help to determine the origin of this problem and establish some corrective measures regarding, for instance, to the formulation of the materials or the manufacturing process. So with that, we have done our presentation. In the next slide, we have our contact. And well, doesn't matter. And so if you have any further questions for now.
Okay, thank you very much to all of you. We have a few questions in the chat, so if you have an additional minutes, we can answer to the attendees. The first one is for Belén. They are asking once the plastic and glass packaging is collected in the container, where is this sent next? What is the objective after collecting specific cosmetic packaging?
Okay, so from the points, the waste is collected by authorized waste manager because this is established by Spanish law, and it's taken to a treatment plant where it's weighed, characterized, and stored pending for future recyclability studies with recycling that we are going to do in the next phase of the project. So, I mean, we could say that the objective is at the end to obtain, we could say, the most accurate picture of the type of materials presenting sustainable packaging and the proportion that could be collected through this selective collection, no? So that these packages can be treated separately, finally, at treatment plants. So this is the final objective.
Thank you very much, Belén. I think that about this question, sometimes in the cosmetic packaging, the thing is that it's really high quality and value packaging, and materials. So if we can have like a large volume of this kind of packaging and to have apart from another with less quality, we can do a specific treatment for them. I think this is
sure.
the other objective. Thank you very much, Belén. Okay, perfect. For Merce and for Leonor. Leonor, why is round packaging more difficult to recycle? Round packaging.
Yeah. Depending on the geometry, it can be a problem considering the technology for recycling for just a moment.
Okay.
Yes, for making the processes of the recycle for shredder, so the packaging. In our case, the kind of technology that we're using were from a pilot plant equipment. So for us, it is true that it was a problem, the very round geometry. And in some cases, for example, the methodology from Recyclability, it is an aspect that takes into account. And if it's too round, it can be problematic, and they should ask for some industrial tests for assuring that that kind of packaging is recyclable. Yes, it is an aspect.
Okay, I don't know, Merce, if the answer is enough for your question.
Well, I didn't quite understand it because, well, we are in the packaging sector, and I'm not, I didn't know that kind of round packaging was worse for recycling, and I'm not yet understanding why is it, but okay.
Well, it depends on the technology, on the equipment used. In our case, we used an equipment that it was not as industrial, and they were only our round bottles. It was not like a real case where you have different kind of geometries, and those kind of different geometries help one to other to be able to make the recycling the triturar. Sorry, but I don't know the exact.
To grind or...
Yes, to grind that the packaging. So if you only have round bottles and they are
you can answer in Spanish if you prefer, Leonor, because Marcel is from Barcelona.
Okay.
I'm sorry for the rest of the attendance, but I think that it's difficult, to explain that in English for us.
So, están rodando en el triturador because we only have that kind of geometry, and this is why it was for us a little more challenging.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Okay, there is no more question in the chat. Only one comment from Jan Bansura. They say that he will be happy to discuss with KPMG and AINIA about chemical recycling for impure package. Okay, so just for you to know, if you want, I can put all of you in contact by email. Okay. Any other question? If not, we are out over the time, so we should finish the masterclass at this point. Thank you very much to all speakers and all the attendees and participants. So see you next masterclass at EPIC Project. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thanks to you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.